is my last fight. If they take me back to Texas, they won't take me back alive. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the bells stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home.
She reached down and picked the gun up that lay smoking in his hand. She said, Father, please forgive me. I can't make it without my man. And she knew the gun was empty, and she knew she couldn't win. But her final prayer was answered when the rifles fired again. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home.
There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. All right, y'all, help me now.
There were 7 Spanish angels
at the
altar of the sun.
Oh, I believe
they were praying for the lovers.
Yeah, they was.
In the valley of the gun.
Well.
When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared,
there was thunder
on the throne.
Oh, yeah.
And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home.
I feel so bad, I've got a worried mind. I'm so lonesome all the time since I left my baby behind on Blue Bayou. Saving nickels, saving dimes, working till the sun don't shine. Looking forward to happier times on Blue Bayou. I'm going back someday, come what may, to Blue Bayou, where you sleep all day and the catfish play on Blue Bayou. All those fishing boats with their sails afloat, if I could only see that familiar sunrise through sleepy eyes, how happy I'd be. Oh, to see my baby again and to be with some of my friends. Maybe I'd be happy then on Blue Bayou. I'm going back someday, gonna stay on Blue Bayou, where the folks are fine and the world is mine on Blue hurting inside. I'll never be blue, my dreams come true on Blue Bayou. Go, 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 Timberlake. Go, 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 Timberlake. Go, 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 Timberlake.
Everyone.
G'day, g'day, how you going? What do you know? Don't strike a light. G'day, g'day, and how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right. Isn't it great to be an Aussie, taking a walk along the street, looking in shops or buying a paper, stopping and having a yarn with people that you meet down at the pub or at a party. Whenever you're stuck for what to say, if you want to be dinky-die, why don't you give it a try? Look 'em right in the eye and say good day. Good day, good day. How you going? What do you know? Well, strike a light. Good day, good day. And how you going? Just say good day, good day, good day, and you'll be right. Now when Italians meet, they all go crazy. The blokes all like to hug each other too. The Yanks invented hi and see you later, while the Pommy will shake your hand and say how do you do. Now watch out for a Frenchman or he'll kiss you. The Spaniards go for Ola and Olay, but in the land of the cockatoo, cock hats and the didgeridoo. When you meet an Aussie 10 to 1, here's what he'll say. G'day, g'day. How you going? What do you know? Well, strike a light. G'day, g'day. And how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right. It's a greeting that you'll hear across Australia, from Geraldton to Goulburn-Gundy Guy. It's as dinkum as the dingo and the dahlia, and you spell it with a G apostrophe a D-A-Y. Good day, good day. How you going? What do you know? Well, strike a light. Good day, good day. And how you going? Just say good day, good day, good day, and you'll be right. Good day, good day. And how you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. Good day, good day. And how you going? Just say good day, good day, good day. Just say good day, good day, good day, and she'll be right.
Good day. Today we've come together to say goodbye to someone special to all of us. Someone who touched us in their own special way. He was the firstborn to Arthur and Mavis, the brother to Wendy, Helen and Jill, the husband to Maria for 62 years, the father to Dale, Colin and Jeffrey. He was pop to all of his grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and you're right, I haven't got a clue what your names are. But he knew you and he loved you all in his own unique way. He was a father-in-law, a brother-in-law, an uncle to some of you, or a cousin also. To some he was a soldier that stood by his mates in battle, a soldier that went to war to fight for the freedom of his country and the country of Vietnam. And might I boldly say a lesson that our country can learn from today. But to many of you here today, he was Max, your mate. To me, he was Dad. Hello, my name is Colin Atkinson, and today I have the privilege, on behalf of my family, to lead you through the celebration of Dad's life. Dad was an interesting character. He was born on the 14th of March 1942 at the Old Burney Hospital and left us on the 18th of December this year after a short illness with his family by his side. One of Dad's loves in life was shooting. Whenever and wherever he wanted to be with his family and mates doing this. Even from the kitchen table was fine. I vividly remember one day we saw a mouse running around the kitchen. Dad goes to the gun cupboard, grabs a .22, a rat shot, waits, and then as the mouse ran across the stove, bang. The mouse drops dead, the enamel on the stove gets chipped, and Mum, well, she was really impressed. Another time our neighbour said they had a snake in their yard and it had gone into a pipe at the front of their driveway. Dad again grabs his trusty .22. He jumps into the car and drives the 50 metres to their house. And yep, 50 years ago it was still too far to walk. He looks, takes aim, and bang. They put a water hose down the pipe to flush out the snake, and to everyone's surprise, out comes a dead blue-tongued lizard. I think that was the start of Dad's eyesight going. There are many a story that can be said just like that. And now we have the privilege of hearing from more of these from Dad's hunting expedition, should I say, from his lifelong friend Barry Cumming. Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Colin. I'll go back a little bit with me and Max. I was camped on a property in the Midlands, and to all of us that shoot a bit and have been there with us, I got up one morning, took off into the bush, and as I was walking away from the camp, I noticed another camp was sitting not far away from us. So I headed up into the bush in pitch black darkness, just kept walking, got to the top of the hill, and all the time I'm walking I can hear something below me, all the time, footprint for footprint almost. And I thought, someone's down below me, had no idea who it was, what it was, or anything else. It wasn't a deer, I know that. And that's what we were after. So I kept walking. So this hill is about 2.5 miles long. It's still on the same property. And it leads to an end right out to a gravel road. And on that gravel road, when I made it to it, an hour or so later, I'm sitting there just having a drink and a rest. And out of the bush, I can see this puff of smoke coming. And I thought, who the hell's this? So I looks up, and this bloke walks out in full army clothing. Boots black, nuggeted, gaiters the same, green trousers, shirt and a slouch hat on. And I looked at him and the only thing I could think of was, Jesus, who's this knobber? And I thought, okay, I might know him. Anyway, he walks down to me. Anyway, he introduces, I'm Max. I said, well, I'm Barry. How are you? And I said, was you walking down below me? And he said, yeah, I was. You must have been above me, because I could hear you as well. And I thought to myself after, okay, where do you live, Max? He said, I live at Somerset. Oh, Jesus. Where do you live? I live in Ocean Vista, which is 300 yards away, other side of the river. Oh, okay. 3 children? Yep, boy. 3 boys, get it right. Sorry, Colin. And anyway, and I thought to myself after, well, okay. And then we got talking for a few minutes about various things. And he said, Vietnam vet, and I understood the green. I understood everything. And I was the one that felt the knobber at the end of that. But over that period of time, we started to shoot together a lot. So from that day, I hadn't been a lot onto the track where I met him. But the other day I went to Campbelltown with my wife and myself, and I went up into the bush and I stood on that road right where I met him. And I'm hoping that that little bit of teary-eyed that I had then is not going to happen in the next 10 minutes. So let's hope. So that was the middle of March in 1975. So you'll have to do the maths on the family to tell me who was how old was what Marie as well. So that's where I first met him, and been a mate for 50 years now. So, and I've been on that same place for the same amount of time, 50 years. So whether it's coincidence or not, I don't know. I'm just going to tell you a couple of little stories that made us laugh anyway, Max and I anyway. And I noticed Neville's sitting over there as well, so Neville was involved in some of this as well. A young boy from Burnie rode a 175 trail bike from Burnie to Campbelltown on L plates to go shooting with Max. He was invited. I won't use his name at this point, and he gets all the way down to Campbelltown. I don't know how long that would have taken. Let's say it takes 4 hours to get there. So anyway, he gets down. We set up camp for him, help him get a tent and everything. Night's starting to come in. So on that evening, we're listening to the bush sounds all through the night and the evening as dark was coming into full black. Over the river, from where we were camped, this almighty screaming of 2 male possums scrapping. And it was blood-curdling to someone that's not used to that sort of thing. He jumps up out of his seat, terrified, absolutely terrified. What was that? And out of Max's words came one thing, bunyip. He's just had his tea. And I'm thinking, oh, Max, what a thing. Anyway, and I don't know how I done this, but in the same period of that same thing, I said to him, if you urinate around your tent, he won't come near. They don't like the smell of it. So I thought, geez, should I have said that? Anyway, night time comes, bedtime comes, so we headed off. The next morning, gets up, and I said, you still alive? Bunyip never got you. No, he said, I had a good night's sleep. I heard a couple of things outside, but the urine must have stopped him. And I thought, okay, fair enough. I left it at that. Max is just grinning at me, and he'd be still grinning at me. So we headed off into the bush. I think there was 4 or 6 of us there. We had a couple of vehicles up there, and we was going to walk down one side of a hill, turn around, meet and come back up over the top. So we're heading off. The 2 young ones went down the side. Max and I took the easy bit along the top of the ridge, and we're getting down through it. And I could look up in front and I could see the 2 boys. And Max said to me, hey, do you want to have a bit of fun? And I said, what are you on about? He said, well, see these 2 bloody great trees? If we get behind these 2 trees, they'll come walking up towards us and we'll be able to just scream out like a bunyip. It got someone. Oh, you're an idiot, I said. And he said, oh, well, let's try it, see what happens. So we did. Standing behind this tree, I let out this almighty cry, and I mean it nearly frightened me. And I thought, right, okay, they've turned. They're coming straight at us, both of them, straight through the gap. And they were about 100 yards away, and I let one more sound go out. The rifles come up in the air, and I thought, oh no, here we go. Max is getting closer to the tree, and so was I. But they came between us, so Max and I just walked around the outside of the tree. So they kept going. They're going. Another 100 yards past. We were on the other side of the tree this time. I yelled it out again. screamed it out again, actually. They're coming back again. But one of the boys had separated slightly from the other younger boy that rode the bike down. As they're getting towards us, Max is going to get caught here. I can see it coming. The one that's coming to me just kept his path. I just walked around the tree. As the other ones got towards Max, Max is going, shh, shh, I could see him. Shh, come here. And I thought, Crikey, Max, what are you doing? Well, the young fella's kept walking. He's not realised his mate's been eaten. So anyway, he got about 50 yards away from me, and I let out all this mighty cry and squealing. And he turns around and his mate's not there. He's decided, like, I'm out of here. And he took off like he was running the Bernie gift. I'm laughing. Max is over there crying. And I said, what are you on about? He said, well, you better go and get him. I said, why am I going to get him? You done it. Anyway, he says to me, he said, yeah, but you're younger. So anyway, I chased him, I reckon 300 yards before I caught him. The more I yelled out to him, the harder he ran, because he thought it was still coming behind him, what had ate his mate. And I thought, when I got back up there, I apologised to him and everything else. And that young boy's name was Millen Vinlack. And I don't know whether he's here today or not. I didn't see him walk in. He was... Sorry? Oh, he was still shaking. He was shaking for 2 days. But anyway, I let it go at that, and I thought, right. So Max's boss was Millen Vinlack Senior. So he asked him if he could look after him for a couple of days. So that's Max's way of looking after him. And I thought to myself after, I thought, man, oh man, what next? So I've got one more little one I'd just like to say. I've got to find where I can wing this. We went shooting, up again, spotlighting. And I have a feeling I'll have to ask the Ablett family in a minute, was Dale have a country little mini moke? I think he did. Because that mini moke, Max and I were standing in the back of it. The wheels were nearly off the ground at the front. And I can still remember it. We had the lid folded back, so we're standing in the boot, spotlighting. Out the back, we'd gone 5 or 6 k's, up through the trees. And all of a sudden, we turns down this road. And it's the same road that Max and I met on 5-10 years before that, whatever it was. Anyway, didn't have 4-wheel drive. It's just got standard single wheel and rough. So we had a log over the road, little one, only a little fella, but this car wouldn't have got over it. So we had to drive up around it. So Dale Ablett's driving, as far as I understand, he hit the first bump, Max and I went forward. When he hit the second bump, the hinge of the tailgate just kept coming. And we were heading straight out the back, straight back onto the ground. I landed face down, and Max landed straight on top of me, Marie. So I said, get off, you fat bastard. I can't breathe. So anyway, he said, well, don't blame me. I didn't do it. And I said, yeah, but you're the one on top of me. So there it is. So that's my tribute to Max. Thanks, Holden. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. That reminded me of another story, actually, that just come back. There was someone else he was shooting with, and a very similar thing happened. And I remember Dad got shot out of the back of a vehicle, but they knew he was all right because they could see the cigarette in his mouth still going as it went to ground, and he was fine. So as we continue to reflect on Dad's life, I have 2 parts to bring you. Firstly, from his sister, which has been written in the form of a letter to Dad. And then some thoughts I've collated together from his and Mum's family. So the letter. Dear Max, you made it to 83 years, 9 months and 4 days. Longer than Dad at 66 years, 5 months and 2 days, and Mum at 68 years, 11 months and 17 days. I know you would have quietly been proud of that. So was Wendy, reaching 79 years, 9 months and 21 days. Helen and I are still working on it. You were always my big brother, someone I quite literally looked up to all my life. Always there for your family whenever you were needed. Now to the serious talk. I have owed you for 62 years. For Christmas when I was 5, Santa brought me a wonderful giant green rubber ball. That was the best present I have ever received from anyone. Not that it lasted more than 2 hours after I opened it. Before I had a chance to play with it, Bill Hopkins and you took it out to the front yard and proceeded to play football with it. Pop. Psst. It hit a spark plug on an engine that Dad had sitting in the yard, and no matter what anyone done, it was never able to be mended. I don't think you know how traumatised I have really been over that tragic accident. Still brings tears to my eyes even now. One of your favourite torments or acts was to poke your finger in our ears. I'm still not sure what you got out of that action. Apart from Dad at times, our whole family seemed to live through scouting and guiding. Somerset saw just about all of us in a uniform at one time or another. You, Dale and Lee as Cubs and Scouts, Wendy, Megan and Shelley and Brownies, Wendy and Megan in Guides, you as a Scout leader, me as a Brownie and a Guide leader, and Mum as a Badge assessor. The tradition continued with Lee and Scouts, Megan in Brownies and Guides, Helen as Assistant Brownie leader, and Graham as a Scout leader in Scottsdale. And now me as the Guide leader in Burnie and Girl Guides Tasmania District Manager for Hellier. We were and have always been proud to keep that family tradition alive with you. All 4 of us followed Mum into stamp and coin collecting, along with many other diverse collections. I know some of your friends and family say it's hoarding. I'm sure some of it is, and I'd agree. Dad, Mum, Helen and I missed you terribly and worried constantly while you were away in the army and in Vietnam. Helen recalls Mum sitting at the kitchen table sobbing when she read your letter saying that you would be going to Vietnam. Yet from the time that you brought Maria into our lives, a beautiful young lady, both in appearance and in nature, with her came 3 little nephews, Dale, Colin and Jeffrey, little at least to me for a while, along with Wendy and Nolan's 4 boys, James, Peter, Andrew and Craig. They became the little brothers I never had. Your family home was and always has been a welcoming place for all. I will never forget you and Dad swinging Helen and me in the green army blankets in the backyard, bundling us up in those blankets and dumping us in your dark bedroom, waiting for us to find a way out. The beautiful things you sent us from Vietnam were also beautiful. We still have the items of jewellery you gave us, and of course you calling me the Catwoman of Somerset, or Kiddo for short. Those huge blocks of cheese from Lactos never stood a chance. Grilled cheese and tomato sandwiches made on the stove, sitting on the back cement on cold winter nights, playing cards, everywhere we went, family time just as it should be. You met Rodney before I did, collecting calves from their farm at Upper Mount Hicks, deer shooting at Windfalls, roost shooting in Trulands near Campbelltown. Of course, I got the raw end of the deal, literally, carrying the back end of the deer down the hill first, yet another learning experience you freely gave me. You started the Northwest Field and Bench Shooters Clubs, meeting at St Barnabas in Somerset, with Dad, Graham, Rodney and I all joined. Helen and Graham were married at St George's Church of England, Burnie, where you were their groomsmen, and there again 2.5 years later, standing in for Dad at Rodney and my wedding, when Dad was in hospital. Losing him 10 days later made that gesture mean more than you could ever know. I know how hard that was for me, and I can only imagine how hard it was for you, Wendy and Helen. And I'm so sorry that Maria now knows how it was for her mum and our mum to lose their dearest partners. How wonderful you were in accepting Noel and Graham and Rodney as your brother-in-law. taking them under your wing and advising them on how to manage your 3 little sisters. You guided them just as you guided all of us. A mentor without ever needing the title. Thank you for taking the time away from your family to video our children when they were young. Another thing that can never be repeated. Megan remembers the very bumpy, rocky rides in the back of the Land Rover troop carrier, and that you had to have a box for Mum to be able to climb into it. Helen and I have the same problem today. I recall one summer afternoon parking Dad's Haflinger close to the front of your car on Mum's front lawn, then leaving to go off with Rodney with the keys, thinking you wouldn't be able to get out. Well, that didn't work. You had no trouble inching out of that jam. Helen and I began researching our family history 41 years ago. And later Wendy and you joined in, and that has certainly filled in plenty of our time. The long phone calls, sometimes very long, at any hour about everything and nothing, especially family history in recent years, paired with the 5-minute visits that so often stretched into 5 hours, are something I will miss deeply. When Shelley and Robert were little, you gave Shelley a cream teddy bear and Robert a brown one for Christmas. Shelley swapped them when Robert wasn't looking, and the brown bear Lisa became her best friend for many years, and she's still here. Shelley often remembers dropping something off at your house and ending up in an unexpected educational session, typewriters, cameras, computers and more, that would last an hour or so, and how you fixed her doll. She loved sitting in your kitchen, mesmerised by the cigarette smoke curling up to the ceiling, secretly sniffing it when she thought no one saw. And we're so thankful she didn't become a smoker. Like our father, you were a wealth of knowledge, a fixer of things with a passion for shooting, a collector, and you passed so much of that on to me. Dad would have truly embraced the technical age, just as we all did. Then a family historian with a passion. Senka recalled that you always had a story to tell. You and Maria have been extremely blessed with loyal, wonderful sons, and even more so by the caring, helpful partners they brought into our family. What a gift they gave you and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. You can rest knowing that we will all look after Maria. Obviously, we were never meant to get that other family photo taken. Sucks for the family history part, and this is only a snippet of our memories. Until we meet again, my big brother, with all my love, your littlest sister, Jill. Thank you. I better get a drink. Look out, here we go. So these are the memories, I guess, from my brothers and Mum, and just some of the things I guess we've been reflecting on. I'll probably add in there that I've taken a little bit of poetic licence too, it might, but we'll see how it goes. So Dad joined the army in 1961-62 and found himself in Sydney. And it was fair to say that Dad was on the lookout for a partner in life. Dad, a then corporal, was driving in convoy, and when crossing a bridge he laid eyes on what he thought could be the girl of his dreams. And whilst paying close attention to her, the rest of the trucks in the front of Dad stopped. Dad didn't. He sailed straight into the back of the truck in front of him, knocking that truck into the next one and so on. From that day on, Dad was a Lance Corporal for the rest of his army service. He also made a wise decision, deciding going to dances might be a safer place to find his partner in life. Mum recalled the night she met Dad. It was at a dance. She had danced with about four men, Dad being one of them. And she said to herself, he looks all right. I hope he asked me for another dance. So clearly Dad thought the then thin black-haired 17-year-old was a bit of all right. And so he asked her for another dance. Dad, thinking he was on a roll, then asked if she could go out for a drink after. And Mum was under strict instructions from her mother that she must go straight home after the dance. So no was the reply. He asked her again if they could meet up later, and so they met for a drink the following week. Dad walked Mum home that night to be greeted at the front of the unit by Mum's 3 brothers. She thought they were there to go and bash him up. Fortunately for Dad, the shop below the unit had been broken into and they were there waiting for the police. I might just pause there, and I do want to thank Uncle Tony and everyone in Sydney that would be joining us via live stream and that. You play a special part in our life. We know you tried to get down here, but it wasn't to be, but thank you. And for anyone else out there too, I might add, that are watching via live stream. Yeah, so Mum, as I said, recalls that from that day on, they treated Dad like a brother. Mum and Dad were married at All Saints Church, Parramatta on the 14th of December 1963. 9 months later, Dale come along, and to be fair, he was a bit of a handful. Dad deployed to Vietnam in May 1966, travelling on the HMAS Sydney, known as the Vung Tau Ferry. Mum said there wasn't a dry eye on or off the aircraft carrier as it sailed away. Dad was a transport driver whilst over there, running supplies and soldiers to where they needed to be. On in return, he left the army, and then as his 6 years had been completed. The family, well, Mum, Dad and Dale, moved to Tassie, staying with Dad's parents for 12 months, before moving into their property today. Things took a turn for the better on the 10th of January 1969 when I came along, and it was fair to say they were on cloud 9. Then Jeffrey, the apple of Mum's eye, in 1972. I remember at a younger age hearing of Dad's time in Vietnam and not thinking much of it. But on reflection, when Dad retired from Lactos, and especially Dad showing me a map earlier this year of an accident that he had there, as he talked me through it, things made a lot more sense. It would have been around 1975-76. Mum and Dad sought to adopt a young Vietnamese girl, but it wasn't to be. And personally, I believe the events over there played on his mind, and I believe that is why he has really appreciated his granddaughters and his great-granddaughters. They all hold a special part in his heart. They did. I guess my earliest memories of Dad was when we used to play chasings together. It was like a game of tag. I'd do something to get his attention, like pulling the green plums off the tree before they ripen and chucking them at my brothers. He would then go to the willow tree growing near the creek. He'd cut off a branch with his trusty pocket knife. Well, and let's just say he pinned the tail on the donkey. And that was normally just a special game for me, because Dale and Jeffrey were far too good to join in. Dad moved from job to job in those early years, finally settling at Lactos, where he ended up as a cheesemaker and the nickname the Fox. I remember money being tight and Dad doing various extra projects to bring in a bit more income, making cheese boxes, making gun racks for Retke's firearms and for Max Wood, which I met earlier on there today, so thanks for coming along, Max. So these were just a few of those things that Dad done just to bring in some extra income. Christmas time was special, jumping in the car or the Haflinger, going up Back Cam Road, grabbing a young gum tree full of caterpillars, bringing it home to decorate. Dad will put up streamers and balloons in the lounge room, making it pretty special. Dad worked shift work, and with that came working normally Christmas Day. But we did look forward to him coming home and spending what time he could with us. And I might also add, it was special, Barry, having you there and a number of those Christmases as well, mate. Christmas lunch or tea would normally end up at Nan's to enter the smoke-filled kitchen. I always remember from the ceiling down about a metre was just smoke, not from the stove, but from the finest tobacco that Winfield, Turtham and Rothmans could offer. Christmas puddings full of sixpences were a real treat. Wrestling Dad on the lounge where he was laying was always fun, until we dragged him off it, and that was the end of that. We learnt the finest of typewriter skills during our wrestling sessions, a tradition that continues on in our family today. Dad loved shooting, and we've heard of him spending time with his father and brother-in-laws and mates doing this, and how he loved it. And another two stories that I can remember connected to shooting was at home when we would go down into the wash house, where he had a small bench to work on. I loved to go down there and be with Dad as he went about his work. One day he was melting lead to make projectiles for one of his favourite pastimes, reloading bullets. And he hadn't dried out the pouring pot. And when he put it into the lead, it exploded. We had lead all over our hair, on our faces, thankfully not in our eyes. Not too smart, Dad. The other thing was when he made a crossbow from the plans that he found in a book. Using a car spring, night after night, he worked on this. He then found a piece of 6mm round stainless steel, about 700 millimetres long, sharpened a point. He took aim across the creek and pulled the trigger. It sailed across the creek, across the road, into the neighbour's hedge, and who knows where it stopped. And Dad said, I better put that away, and we never saw it again for 40 years. Summer holidays were spent on a property called Trulands by the Elizabeth River in Campbelltown. We camped in a trailer that we used to carry Pop's Haflinger. That would come out, the bunks and tables would go up, and we were set. We would spend time learning how to use guns as well as looking for where the deer might be come March. Dad loved recording home movies, from the back of a truck in Vietnam to the latest in VHS video cameras in the 1980s. By this time, us boys were completing with the Somerset Fire Brigade competitions teams. Dad would come along and video this. Before long, Dad had a whole bunch of new friends, and it turned out they were the same ilk as Dad, complainers. The events at the competitions were ran to such a strict set of rules that if you didn't meet those requirements, you were disqualified. Quite often, competitors would feel hard done by and protest. They would then come before a panel to plead their case. Competitors started to realise that quite often Dad had recorded their event, and so they would come to Dad, review the footage to see if it would support their case. Towards the end of the 1980s, grandchildren started to come along, Luke being the first. And I only found out last week that on one of Dad's last shooting trips, Luke shot a stag with Dad. Amy remembered grabbing Dad's smokes and sneaking under the kitchen table with her cousin and pretending to smoke. By the way, Amy, your cousin is still in complete denial wherever you are. Yeah. Michaela remembers Pop coming home with his duffel bag and he'd take to work, always jingling full of coins. And Nad saying, don't touch that, that's his lunch money. Pop putting on Rockin' Robin and Achy Breaky Heart for them to dance to. And Pop's DVD collection was always good to pick from in the holidays. But you had to book it out. Your name would go on a spreadsheet and then you'd be reminded to return it. Cups of tea around the kitchen table will forever be etched in my memory. Lots of laughs, memories and arguments were shared around that table. Hattie, his great-granddaughter, shared a common interest with Grandad and Pop, which was collecting coins. She would join them on trips to the coin fairs. We took Pop to Fuchsia Fantasy and he brought so many plants. Getting lunch from Macca's and eating it on the side of the Leven River was a nice memory. Dad finally got to build his big shed, with his mates coming to pour the slab and help him erect the steelwork that he'd welded together. He started collecting Victor lawnmowers, stationary engines, Villiers engines, printing presses. video cameras, watches, ladies' jewellery beads, empty paint cans, whippersnippers, chainsaws, and so on. And yes, you're right, this is a garage sale ad, so stay tuned for the date. Jeffrey spent many a trip going to Bunnings and Super Cheap, with Dad buying critically required automotive products, or better known as crap, to fill his office, as by now there was no room left in the shed. Jeff spent many an hour tending to Dad and Mum's lawns and gardens, helping out wherever he could. Thanks, brother. It's pretty special what you have been doing for Dad and Mum over the years, and we both do want to thank you for that. It's pretty special. As Dad's health diminished over time, he opted to spend time at home playing with his coins, growing his tomatoes and other veggies, making relish, and even making Mum a drink and having a chat of a morning. He loved spending time on his swing chair with his cat that wouldn't leave his side. Mum also loved sitting out there with him, enjoying their garden and wildlife together. In fact, the last thing he'd done before going to hospital was to take Uncle Rod to his garden and put him to work. Dad lived his life doing what he loved. He loved his family and his mates in his own unique way. There now is a void left behind that I guess we will struggle with. So thank you all for being part of Dad's journey, and on his passing, the love that you have shown us, and in particular to Mum. So we're now going to go through and watch a video presentation highlighting some of Dad's life. Thank you.
Past 18, he was waiting for the bus in his army green. Sat down in a booth in a cafe there, gave his order to a girl with a bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she gave him a smile, and he said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling a little low. She said, I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the pier. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I got no one to send a letter to. Would you mind if I sent one back here to you? I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy too young for him. They told her, traveling soldier, our love will never end. Waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter said, a soldier's coming home. Friday night at a football game, the Lord's Prayer said and the anthem sang. A man said, "Folks, would you bow your heads for a list of local Vietnam dead?" Crying all alone under the stands was a piccolo player in the marching band, and one named Red, and nobody really cared. But a pretty little girl with a bow in her hair. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy too young for him. They told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says the soldier's coming. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy too young for him. They told her, waiting for the love of the traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says the soldier's coming home.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoker, and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue, hey, true blue, give it to me straight, face to face. Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race. Hey, true blue, true blue, is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue, I'm asking you. Hey, true blue, can you bear the load? Will you tie it up with wire just to keep the show on the road? Hey, true blue, hey, true blue, now be fair dinkum. Is your heart still there? If they sell us out like sponge cake, do you really care? Hey, true blue, Is it me and you? Is it Mom and Dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when she's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue, I'm asking you. True blue, is it me and you? Is it Mom and Dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue, true blue.
Planning a service like this today, to be honest, has been pretty overwhelming. And that's generally come from what do you put in and what do you leave out. Don't get me wrong, we love it. Everyone just wants to honour Dad. And we have been truly humbled by this. But let's face it, half of you are now going, hurry up, let's get him in the ground, I want a cuppa. In Dad's honour and tradition, Mum and I have been arguing about whether we should sing a hymn or not. Mum says yes, I would say, I don't think these words are Dad. We met at the funeral home the last Tuesday, sorry Brendan, and after some wise counsel we decided no. However, Mum, on reflection you chose an interesting hymn. As many of you know, I am a Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the biggest at times. I am far from perfect, and I would have offended many of you here today over the years, and I am truly sorry. But let's get back to Dad. As we have seen and heard, Dad loved arguing. And generally it was not us that would bring up religion, it was him. He loved to poke the bear. So who married Cain and Abel? I've read the Bible, this actual Bible. This is Dad's. And it would say, and so on he would go. Now the hymn Mum chose on Tuesday morning and was adamant that we was going to have was How Great Thou Art. And my response was, Colin, keep the peace. Let's just get on with it, whatever. Now let's be clear. This is not talking about Mum and definitely not Dad. Dad did not hold to what I believe, but he did believe there was a God. He would say there is no way we have come from a lump of slop. Someone has had to have created us. And that's exactly what the first two verses of that hymn say. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hand has made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, the power throughout the universe displayed. When through the woods and forest glades I wander, and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees, when I look down from lofty mountain grandeur, and hear the brook and feel the gentle breeze. As I said, Dad did believe there is a God, and that is because of the first two verses of this hymn, we would spend many an hour together gazing at the stars that had been fashioned by God's hand, searching for planets and satellites, recording their times that passed as they passed across the sky and so on. He loved to wander through the bush, as we've heard, pointing out birds and other animals that God had created. In fact, that God had created for us to feed on, like deer. When we Where did we camp in Campbelltown? It was by the quietly flowing Elizabeth River. But that's where the hymn ended for Dad, as he didn't line up with the last two verses of the hymn to my knowledge. And they say, and when I think that God, his son not sparing, sent him to die, I scarce can take it in. That on the cross, my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take me home, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, my God, how great thou art. And I guess all of this poses an interesting question, as one day all of us, we will face death. So the question I have for you today is, where will you spend eternity? Now, eternity is the one word that has captivated the people of Sydney and beyond. For many years, Mum and Dad, they met in Parramatta. Sydney is where they were married. And it took just one man, Arthur Stace, Mr. Eternity, an underclass battler, a soldier, former drunk and criminal, to inspire the entire city when he converted to Christianity and began to spread his message by inscribing the word eternity in copper plate writing with yellow chalk on the footpaths and doorsteps in and around Sydney, from Martin Place to Parramatta, from 1932 until his death in 1967. He had become somewhat of a legend in the local folklore of the city. Stace said Reverend John Ridley's words, eternity, eternity, I wish I could sound and shout the word to everyone in the streets of Sydney. You've got to meet it. Where will you spend eternity? And this proved crucial in Stace's decision to tell others about his faith. Several mornings a week for the next 35 years, Stace woke at 4 a.m. to go around the streets of Sydney and chalk the word eternity on footpaths, doorsteps, railway stations, entrances and anywhere else he could think of. Workers arrived in this city, they would see the word freshly written, but not the writer. The man who writes eternity became a legend in Sydney. The Sydney City Council brought him to the attention of the police, and they had rules about the defacing of pavements. So much so that he narrowly avoided arrest about 24 times. Each time he was caught, he responded with, "But I had permission from a higher source." A far cry from what you're allowed to do in the streets of Sydney today, I might add. So all I ask you today is please give some consideration to where you will spend eternity. Sadly now, we must farewell a special man. And as I say at many funerals, there is always a bit of a tough one, so please bear with me. Mum, you've endured 62 years of good times and bad times, in poor times and rich, in sickness and health. And you have showed us what it means to be a loving and devoted wife and mother. Your husband is gone, but let us never forget Dad. Days ahead will be tough. Your family and friends here today will help you get through this. It's okay to grieve and have sadness at the loss of Dad. Would you please join me now in prayer? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the life of Max Atkinson. We thank you for the family that has blossomed from Max and Maria's life. We thank you for giving him 83 years of this life that he could be part of, and that we can celebrate his life here today. May those that need comfort today find this in you. We pray this through Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you so much for everyone that is here today. To be honest, I've been blown away. When I looked out, I said to Brendan, have we got a double booking? But I really just thank everyone for coming along. It means so much to us. To Steve and Barry and all of Dad's mates at Millcott, thank you so much for what you've done. Nothing was short of amazing. Shortly we'll be moving to the graveside to say our goodbyes. Please come with us if you can. We will then return back here for a cuppa that you've been hanging out for. If you're able to make that walk, please, if you're unable, to make that walk, please stay back. We won't be long. Dad's final journey will be a bit of a special one, in the back of a bumpy Land Rover, as a piper leads the way. But before then, we are honoured to have Adrian Radford from the Burnie RSL to come and share with us. So thank you, Adrian.
Thanks, Colin. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adrian Radford, President of the Burnie RSL sub-branch, and I'm truly honoured to be delivering this part of Max's service at the request of the family. We are assembled here today to pay a last tribute to a beloved comrade, Max Atkinson, who served in defence of our nation, and also how well he served his fellow person in addition to that service. Max was well known to be a contributor with fellow members of the RSL and Military Collectors Group who stand with me here mourning the passing of Max. Max's service history has already been mentioned in today's service, so I don't need to go into that again. But the purpose of my role in today's service is to officially pay the well-deserved respect that Max, the man and Vietnam veteran, has been duly earned. Max was one of many thousands that have signed on the dotted line for the defence of our nation. This is a sacrifice that cannot and is not taken lightly, and Max is today remembered for that commitment and dedication he had made to his country. I got to know Max quite well over the last couple of years. He was a very avid military collector participant. He was always there first and would like to sit down and have a chat while we got things set up at the RSL, well before anyone else got there. His only beverage of choice was ginger beer, and I understand that's been quite some time since he's that. That's why I've placed that stubby of ginger beer as Burnie RSL's last shout to Max. This blood red poppy represents the blood that has been shed on battlefields throughout Australia's involvement in armed conflicts. Although Max did return from Vietnam, many of his comrades did not. This is also a symbol of the sacrifice that Max and any service or ex-serving members of the Defence Force were willing to make for their country. I would now like to ask that all ex-service personnel, including fireys and members of the military collectors, form guard of honour at the rear of the hall, please. While they are doing that, I would like to invite the immediate family to come forward and place a poppy on Max's casket as a mark of respect. For those that are able, please be upstanding. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
It's a long straight road and the engine is deep. I can't help thinking of a good night's sleep, and the long, long roads of my life are a-calling me. These rough old hands are glued to the wheel, my eyes full of sand from the way they feel, and the lights coming over the hill are a-blinding me. It's a long, tough haul from away down south. A man's gotta find a little bread for his mouth, and a home for a girl as sweet as my honey can be. So it's down through the gears, she's a-starting to pull. The gauge on the tank is a-showing near full, and the lights coming over the hill are a-blinding me. There's rain on the road, I can feel the load start a-shifting in a dance. Too late to see the posts, and I haven't got a ghost of a chance. Oh no, the windscreen wipers are a-beating in time. The song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me. Oh, but I'm over the edge and down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain, when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. Hey! I can feel the load start a-shifting in a dance. Too late to see the post, and I haven't got a ghost of a chance. Oh no, the windscreen wipers are a-beating in time. The song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me. Oh, but I'm over the edge and down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain, when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. In the rain, when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. I can't help thinking of a good night's sleep, and the long, long roads of my life are a-calling me. These rough old hands are glued to the wheel, my eyes full of sand from the way they feel, and the lights coming over the hill are a-blinding me. It's a long, tough haul from away down south. A man's gotta find a little bread for his mouth, and a home for a girl as sweet as my honey can be. So it's down through the gears, she's a-starting to pull. The gauge on the tank is a-showing near full, and the lights coming over the hill are a-blinding me. There's rain on the road, I can feel the load start a-shifting in a dance. Too late to see the post, and I haven't got a ghost of a chance. Oh no, the windscreen wipers are a-beating in time. The song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me. Oh, but I'm over the edge and down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain, when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. Hey! on the road, I can feel the load start a shifting in a dance. Too late to see the post and I haven't got a ghost of a chance. Oh no. The windscreen wipers are a beating in time. The song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me. Oh, but I'm over the edge and down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. In the rain when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. Oh yeah, it's a long straight road and the engine is deep. I can't help thinking of a good night's sleep, and the long, long roads of my life are a-calling me. These rough old hands are glued to the wheel, my eyes full of sand from the way they feel, and the lights coming over the hill are a-blinding me. It's a long, tough haul from away down south. A man's gotta find a little bread for his mouth, and a home for a girl as sweet as my honey can be. So it's down through the gears, she's a-starting to pull. The gauge on the tank is a-showing near full, and the lights coming over the hill are a-blinding me. There's rain on the road, I can feel the load start a-shifting in a dance. Too late to see the post and I haven't got a ghost of a chance. Oh no. The windscreen wipers are a-beating in time. The song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me. Oh, but I'm over the edge and down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. Hey. I can feel the load start a-shifting in a dance. Too late to see the post and I haven't got a ghost of a chance. Oh no. The windscreen wipers are a-beating in time. The song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me. Oh, but I'm over the edge and down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain when the lights on the hill were a-blinding me. In the rain when the lights on the hill